Hey,
Hello.
welcome back to Kitchen Table Conversations with Kjessie
And Andre.
with Multicultural Family Hub. The best thing that I saw today was just now. Andre was taking out our puppy because she could be a barker. She's real cute. She's 1 year old. She's this like little mini dachshund. And when she doesn't want to do something, like she didn't want to go, she had just laid down in this cozy spot in the sun. And when you put her leash on, she just goes like this. I'm not doing it.
Spread eagle.
Not doing it. Spread eagle, just like full passive Gandhi resistance, multiple
But
times.
but we have wood floors.
Slides
Just
on
like a
over.
mop. I just slid right out of the room.
Oh, she cute.
Speaking of sliding out of rooms,
I don't know where that's
oh
going.
no. Move.
A for effort on transition. Um, yeah, today we're going to share about our move with you and some of the chaos that has happened within the past few weeks that we've like had to work through emotionally,
Yeah.
for me at least. Um, so we are moving from rural Northern California town of like 150 people to Savannah, Georgia. Full cross-country move. We are selling our house here. We have this like really cool 1914 farmhouse. It's been a flower farm for the past 3 years. We love it so much. And so we were about to put it on the market and we didn't even get it on the market. And someone walked through and loved it.
This is how
And
long ago? This is
oh
about
golly, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks
yeah,
ago,
three, 4 weeks ago.
maybe even longer.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't really
oh,
matter.
yeah.
Ugh. So they put in a full price offer and we're like, yes, at least I was like, yes, this is a sign that we need to be moving. And this is like a sign from the universe. Everything is going so smoothly, exactly as planned. We had, Andre loves that.
She has great plans.
Exactly as planned.
Exactly like I planned it.
And we got into the lottery school of our choice. So that was like another big checkbox. We had just secured a rental in Savannah, another big checkbox. Um, and so I'm feeling so good.
For about 10 hours, 4 hours.
I don't know. I think honestly it was like 12 hours.
Might have
We
been
put
12
this
minutes.
like big deposit and I was like, "Ooh," on this rental in Savannah. And then I get a call that's like, the buyer's pulled out and your escrow fell through. And also in
Oh, you
that,
had also adjusted that you because we had to secure the rental in Savannah, which is really hard to get a rental, especially a house when you have, 3 kids. It's really hard. So you have to be on it. You can't delay. And so we
so
said
we
yes to
learned.
this rental because we loved it, but it meant that instead of moving out at the end of June, we're gonna be moving early June. So we had to call our moving company and say,
Moved all this
yeah.
stuff up.
So now there's no going back because
So we're like, oh,
yeah.
here we go. And then I get that phone call. And then I also, right around the same time, got an email that was like, sorry, the documentation you provided was not sufficient. Your kids can't come to the school anymore. And we had like gotten the rental right down the street from the school. And I was like, full panic, full panic. I think I actually did this for like a really long
So
time.
your house is not sold, and you're going to have to be with your 3 kids. Kids for those square like, no.
So I, in that moment, gave myself a
20,
day,
yeah, 24 hours.
24
Yeah,
hours.
yeah,
I was like, I am going to be really sad
yeah.
for 24 hours. And that's something new for me
Hmm.
because previous to my work with, I would say, a multicultural mindset and learning to feel my feelings, I just would have like, whoom, and ran forward. I think two things would have happened.
Okay.
One of them would have been that I'm like, oh no, Like, because things aren't going perfectly, that means that we're not supposed to do this.
Mm.
And instead of,
Retreat back.
yeah, yeah, just
Yeah.
being like, oh no, and have all these doubts and fears and second guessing and just like start spinning into this loop of anxiety. So
Mm.
I would have done that. Or I would have just been like, we gotta fix it right now. And not allowed
Which
myself.
always makes everything better.
Well, it's really calm for everyone.
You can do either one of those.
No, so I
I
am proud of myself.
and I think before multicultural mindset, I know what I would have done would have been probably been like, don't be sad.
That is true. It's
It's
fine.
fine.
It's all gonna be
What are you gonna be
fine.
sad about? There's something to be sad about, like it's fine. It happens. And we didn't do any of those things. You didn't do your thing, and I did my thing.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, that's 24 hours seems like an appropriate amount of time to be sad, given the fact that all what just happened. And I think I just let you, I was just like, I was there, but for me, it was like also, learning like it's okay to let people be happy, sad, whatever they need to be for their thing. That's okay,
What were you feeling? Just zen?
Uh, I feel like for me, it was more like, no, this tracks given our journey.
Mm.
Like for me, I was like, oh, this is an absolute classic Chessie and Andre. I was like, move across, like, yeah, we're gonna go all the way across. It's all gonna look so. Then it's not. Then there's gonna be turbulence, and then we're gonna. So for me, I think I've been through this so much that I was just like, yeah, this sounds about right. It was almost more like, no, there's no way it's gonna be this smooth. It was, and I was, it was when it was going smooth, I was like, this would be great. But there was also a part of me in the back of my mind, 'cause, like people kept asking me, and I was like, hey, you never know, things could change, especially with selling a house. I kept saying that because I knew like things could change, and when they did, it was like, oh yeah. Now I can say that every time in our life that things have done this, the thing that comes after it is always so much better than what I expected. That I wasn't zen, but I was kind of like, oh, this is our process. Whatever energetically you and I have, this is the process that it goes. But you're allowed to be sad.
I appreciate that. And it does kind of make me upset that you get there before me.
But I never said that.
No, I know
I
you
just,
didn't,
I just,
but it feels like you're winning. Isn't that crazy? Like you're doing it better. But
I'm
that's
doing our house not something our
no, no,
kids
no.
are getting school better. If that's something you're good at, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
I think it's like that, it's like the trope. It's like again, over culture that like somehow negative emotions are bad, and so
Mm,
you shouldn't have
mm.
them. And so um
And
that so like another story
yeah,
that's
yeah.
running
And there's also
is
other stories. If I'm sad, hey, I want everybody needs to be sad, or if I'm happy, everybody needs to be happy, and none of those are true. You know what I mean?
right, right,
But
right.
so there's all of that. All as you're making these decisions and life is happening, all this is going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And it would be. It's probably a lot more fun to be really sad with someone else.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's a
Yeah.
great question. Sometimes,
Sometimes, yeah.
I guess, it just makes me feel like we're more in the same boat.
Hmm.
But that is the practice of like everybody gets to
Yeah.
have their own emotions.
Hmm.
So I got real sad for 24 hours. I went upstairs and just like
Yeah, I don't
laid.
think I saw you.
I don't do this. Like I laid down in our bed and I
Yeah.
napped and I closed the door.
And I remember I told the kids, I was like, do not talk to mom. They're like starting to walk up the stairs. I just looked at them, I was like, mm-mm.
They have a homing beacon
And
on me.
they're
They're
like,
like,
okay. They're like, she okay? I'm like, no, she's good. You just need to not. We all need to be down here, and
a
we're just gonna
minute.
do yeah, give her a minute, 24 hours. And then that was good.
There was a lot of tears shed. Uh, I felt like a lot of
Mm.
emotional release. And now we're back on track. And we still don't have a buyer, and that's okay.
My
One of
house
the
is on the market.
Our house is on the market, but one of the cool things that did happen is because we had to get it on the market, we
Oh
had to
my
like
goodness. Oh
uh
my, in 2 days.
we had to speed clean, because we needed to get really awesome photos of our really awesome house.
Well, not just clean. I mean, when they're coming to take photos, you're looking at everything that might show up in a photo that, so you're purging. You're like purging your inside, you're out, you're just running around the house,
And
moving stuff.
for the like, if you know, you know,
Yeah.
with kids,
Oh
it's
my.
like as fast
Oh,
as you are cleaning it up,
it's
it is being undone.
yeah.
So when I say speed clean, it was
Yeah.
like me speed cleaning and then also like grabbing all the
Yeah.
things to
Well,
try to like put it away.
you have a window that you're gonna clean it and it's gonna look like that, but it's a short window. You're like, you
Oh
have a
yeah.
couple hours, maybe.
And then you got to get the kids
Yeah.
out of the
So we're
house.
like timing, okay, when the photographer's coming, because they're coming at 11. Okay, we gotta have it at top notch by 10:58. And the kids have to leave
Yeah.
because
And
you got
then
maybe an hour because when they come back,
it's chaos.
yogurt's coming out, Nerf guns are I mean, where's my Nerf? I mean, it's
Right. Their
so
shoes kicked like, whoa!
yeah, yeah.
It's like cheerleader kicking shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say we got to do that process, and I'm not saying it was fun,
Mm,
but the result
mm,
was we got to see we've done a ton of work on this cool 1914 house,
mm.
and to stage it to sell and then to have these photos was this really
Was
cool
an
visual
opportunity.
representation
Yeah.
of all this work that we've done for the past 7.5 years.
Yeah.
We bought this house. We were living in a one-room cabin with a 2-year-old and newborn twins. So we bought this house when the twins were 3 weeks old. And I just remember, I barely remember buying it because I was so sleep deprived. I was just like feeding twins and like texting documents. And then it was kind of like people talk about buyer's remorse. I feel like mine was opposite, where I was like, oh, we made a really good decision.
Let me add some more context in the state we were in. So the night the house is bought, it's yours. The night before the day before the night before we're gonna move in, it's pouring rain. It's
Yes.
like 8 o'clock. I leave the one bedroom cabin.
Me carrying
Yeah.
2 baskets of twin.
And then we come to check something out in the house. I can't
We were
remember
gonna
what it was.
clean.
But we were gonna clean it. Yeah, we're gonna clean it before we move in. And we got here. Nothing, nothing was, most of the house was still here. Nothing had been moved.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to move in the next day. And I'm like, what's going on? And the person's like, well, these movers are coming, but
There was a
there was a miscommunication.
miscommunication.
And the person thought, oh, they're gonna pack my stuff. And the mover were like, no, 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 we're just moving pre-packed boxes. And then I'm like, okay, well, I don't care. We can move. It's pouring rain. We can move. But then I get upstairs and I never forget there's this massive bed in one of those. I mean, what's it?
Sleigh bed.
Sleigh bed. And I'm like, you can't, how do we get this out of here? And it became very clear this bed was not coming out without like a chainsaw or something.
No, the 90-year-old neighbor came over. He was like, let me get my
Let me get a
chainsaw. We'll get out of
chainsaw.
here. And we're like,
Oh,
pass.
let's pass on that right now. So I was like, leave it. Anything that we can't get out stays. So when we moved into the house, that we had beds. There was things that
It
were
was
left
chaos.
over and it was total.
We didn't get to clean it before we moved
Okay,
in.
but we didn't care. We were like,
This is
45.
better than a one-room cabin.
Yeah. So that's a starting point of our entry into this house, and then to then go from there to see then the journey
Yeah,
that
there's a
came out
point when we first moved in where you could stand in one spot and see 8 different wallpapers from 3 different decades. It was like it was an epic house journey.
Yeah.
So we've done all this work and we got to see it come to fruition. I got to do my favorite thing, which was go out and pick flowers from our flower farm and make all these beautiful arrangements for the photos. And it felt really magic to see all those pieces. So after my like 24 hours of big sad, we did all the speed cleaning, got it like up to speed, and then took the photos and got it on the market. And it does feel like something I'm not very good at doing, which is like recognizing accomplishment.
Mhm.
And because I'm always like on to the next thing. But it was this, it made, for me, it made me pause and
Mm.
say, like, wow, look at what we
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
here. And really get to sit in the season
And the transition.
that we created here, like before we transition. And I feel like that bookmark was really important and is a really important step in transition that
Mhm.
I tend to skip over, but in some ways was forced to do, which is like reflect on it, take a minute with it, and just have a lot of gratitude. And that slowing down and like completing has also made me think about all the projects we did with kids and
Mhm.
all the stages that we've been through
Yeah.
in this space.
There's one point I was getting like a room ready or a wall or something. I go, whose blood is that?
Oh my God.
And all I realized, oh, that's when Ruby threw some like
Red
splashed
paint.
some red
Red
paint.
paint.
But I also I was like, whose blood is this? Because that's pretty normal in our
Maybe.
setting. Oh, just red paint. Okay, move on.
It's fine, it's fine.
Uh, but yeah, and so the ebbs and flows of this it's just journey, this transition and relocating and selling our house. And it's interesting, I'm currently finishing up reading, a book by Martha Beck called Finding Your North Star.
Yeah, it's backwards.
Backwards.
They can figure it
Yeah,
out.
I figured out. Let's call Finding Your North Star, Claiming the Life You Were Meant to Live. If you haven't read it, check it out. It's a great book and it provides a great framework for when you are moving towards the thing that you know is inherently good for you. And one of the things that I pulled out of that book that I really love, she talks about there's going to be the stage of discomfort, things appearing to seem like they're falling apart or appearing setbacks before you then get to that point of the accomplishment or the paradise or the thing that you were looking for, like realizing. And this is what a lot of great entrepreneurs or people that have that open mindset, they at some point adopt that, oh, this part where the thing's not going through, the contract didn't go through, or this has to change, or my publisher changed this. They realize that this is a sign of I'm going in the right direction. So it's not about things being easy or hard as an indicator of, is your move to something the right move?
That's the binary.
That's the binary. That's someone saying, well, if it's truly good for you, it's going to be like climbing Mount Everest, and there's going to be pain involved. No, no, no. Then there's those that say like, well, if it's truly good for you, it will be ease and joyful. None of that. Those are not true. Sometimes they're either.
Sometimes it is easy.
Sometimes it is easy. Sometimes it's just an accident and it flows and you're on your path. And sometimes there's discomfort and there's things that appear on the surface to be a setback, but internally. And so Kjessie had asked me, he says, well, then how does someone know if you can't rely on it being easy or painful or hard? How do you then know that you're still following,
This is the path.
the path? And I think what we hope to share with our community, I hope to share with you guys, is this is where, as with the multicultural mindset, it's important to drop in and really drop into your body, because that's how you're still going to know, like, even in this situation with us, with the house falling through and having to take up a brand new strategy and do things that we didn't expect to do, it still feels like deep within, like, okay, this is the next step for our family.
What
This
does
is next.
dropping into your body look like for you?
Okay, so for me, the natural response from my mind, if something seems like a setback or something's not going well, is your mind starts to make up all kind of stories. Like you said, like, oh, maybe you're not good enough. This shouldn't have happened. Da da
It's not the
da.
right
It's not
path.
the right path. The imposter syndrome, all that stuff. That's just what the mind does. That's just it's a story creator. But when you drop into your body's not trying to tell you a story. It's trying to give you a truth. It's saying, hey, this is good for us. This is healing. This is joyful. Or it's going to tell you, hey, this is not it. This is not where I should be. This is actually causing not just discomfort. This is pain.
How does it tell you?
I think it's different for me. If I get quiet, I can actually feel it. Like I would say, but right below my chest and like and above my abdominal, like right here, like in kind of a little bit, below my sternum, I can kind of feel if there's still like okay, there's still a light. There's still something that says, yeah, it's still worth it, or it's still I'm still interested in what we're pursuing. And I think it's different for everyone. I think everyone's body, I think, feedbacks them in different ways. I think a lot of people talk about like, like there's pain that might happen, like and that pain or that back pain or different things might be your body trying to tell you, hey, maybe what you're on is not the right way or isn't the right thing for us. So there's not one answer. I think for me, when I drop in, it's definitely within my chest. That when I'm able to tap into it, I can go, oh yeah, this is still good. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Even if it's challenging and you know takes practice and there's setbacks, it still doesn't change this. The thoughts and stuff might change, but what's in here, if I'm on that path, it stays the same. It's kind of it's the compass that I can follow through all of those things. Whereas if I rely on what's up here, well, moment to moment, it's saying crazy things.
I am still unskilled at consistently dropping into my body because this is real busy. Um, but what I hold on to are like moments of clarity,
Mm,
and I will write them down. And so I remember in October being at the beach near Savannah and like looking out over the Atlantic Ocean and having this like full body calm
yeah,
and
I
feeling
remember
like, oh no, this is where we need to
that.
be. And being so calm and so confident in that decision in that moment. And it is so often I cannot get back to that space, but I have to remember, like in the day to day, I have to remember that moment. And I feel like there's been a few moments in my life where I've had to come back to them and be like, no,
Yeah.
that was the feeling from that moment, why I made the decision. And even if I can't access that right now because my mind is super busy and my nervous system is on fire and there's
Yeah.
like kids screaming and I have all these doubts and just like a raging thought machine going on, I have to like reel it back to that moment to find the feeling versus maybe like I feel like you're so good at like the daily dropping in, and I might have like deeper moments, maybe more
Yeah.
infrequently, but I can like hold on to those from a moment when I know I was calm and centered.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it's saying, it doesn't matter if it's a daily or does it matter if like, hey, I have this memory of that moment when I was centered and I was able to access the truth.
Yeah.
Because I think that it doesn't matter if it's every day, if it doesn't matter if it was an anchor point 2 months ago, 3 months ago. The reality is it's anchoring into the truth versus all the stories that come with when your house doesn't sell, all of the things that come with that verse. Hey, there's a thing I can still anchor into that guides us.
One of
And
the things I also loved was like the responses from real estate agents, like
oh man.
our real estate agent, as well as another one we're working in Savannah. I was like, oh, well, our house fell, like the escrow fell through and the buyer pulled out. And I was just like, what? And her response was like, oh, it happens. Like, and so being like you were kind of saying, like when you're an entrepreneur or you're like in those spaces, like real estate agents know that deals fall apart every day and then they come back together and things sell or they don't sell and they might sell on your timeline or they might not. And just having that experience and being like, yeah, no, this is how it goes, I think is so like such a helpful frame. I remember one of the best pieces of advice that I got when I started flower farming was you will kill so many plants. And I
And
I use that phrase in my mind all the time.
you will kill
You
somebody.
will kill so many plants because we like see the end product, which is beautiful bouquets, which is houses that are sold.
Mm,
But we don't see all the times that escrow doesn't close and it falls through, or like I'm going to say thousands of seedlings that died. Like whether the seeds didn't germinate
mm,
or I left them out to like most of the time it's user error, right? I forgot to water them or I didn't get to them quick enough or they got root bound or like all these pieces that can happen. Um, but you don't know it unless you do it. And so I was definitely comforted in the moment by the response of the real estate agents, who are people who, like, when you are in that practice of like, no, this is part of it, and it's not that you're doing it wrong.
Hmm.
This is just part of the journey, is so helpful.
Yeah, and I think this is where that, that multicultural mindset comes from because Jesse and I have never sold a house, so we couldn't rely on our internal culture to give us the tools to like navigate the ups and downs calmly. So when we talked to our real estate agent, we borrowed their culture,
Yeah.
which is there's a culture of real estate. Like she said, that culture is deals are go, then they're not within an hour, or something that wasn't going to sell does, something that everyone says is going to sell immediately doesn't, and you just have to keep re-upping, re-upping. So we borrowed or we integrated their skill, their cultural norm, which is things happen in the real estate world, and then we took that and applied it and said, okay, now that's now a part of our culture, which is things happen, things change, things adapt. And so this is why, multicultural families, a multicultural mindset we think is so beautiful because sometimes you haven't embedded that element,
Yeah.
that tool or the tool we had
Yeah.
doesn't serve in the situation. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And so you're able to kind of go, if you have a community, you're able to go to another culture. In this case, was like our culture of real estate, our friends in real estate, and say, what's the norm here? And how do you approach this? And they were, and it was simple. It was like, this is all a part of it. It's all a part of
Yeah.
it. And you go, oh, okay, well, if it's a part of it, then we're on the right track. Yeah. And so it's beautiful. Yeah.
I also want to assure you that our kids, they did get into the school that we had like done all the work to do. It
They're
just
going to a
took
trampoline school.
not the worst idea.
No, they did. Once again, it was, when you think about transitioning from across the country, California to Georgia, well, there's things that paperwork and different things that one state has and the other state doesn't even have. And so once
Yeah.
again,
Or it was requirements
required. So you're having to go, okay, well, let's learn how to do that. Or, oh, we thought everything went through, it didn't. Okay, now you're back at it, just like a real estate deal not going through. You're like, okay, what's the next step? But yeah, they got in. It's all exciting.
all good.
And so yeah,
So, and we're still in it, right? Our house hasn't sold.
yep,
We're just like still moving forward, doing the process. We are moving in 25 days.
25 days.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we are in the middle of the process, and I just wanted to share with you some of the things that are coming up for us and how we are using these tools in real time. And sometimes using them quickly, and other times I needed at least 24 hours to like feel all those
Mm,
feelings and then hop into a
mm.
different mindset.
And we're excited to take kind of the next 25 days and do kind of this moving series and kind of sharing with you folks like here's this process that we're going through as first time people that are selling a home and relocating at this scale. So we're excited to share the stories and also share the tools, like Kjessie said, that we're gonna use to navigate this process in a way that is, healthy and beautiful for our family. And in the process of that, you get to see like a little bit of a highlight of some of the strategies and tools that we're going to be using within our and sharing and teaching and workshopping within our community this June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
So
feel like moving is definitely a metaphor for like a lot of things in life because there's so much transition and logistics,
mm,
and they say it's like one of the highest stress things you can do.
mhm,
And my goal for the beginning of the year was to move to Savannah in a low stress way that is fun and good for our kids and good for us.
mm.
And which is why we decided we're not going to drive across the country because that would not be low stress or fun.
The
Again,
most unfamily friendly movie of all time.
that like
Someone would get left in
oh my
Kansas.
gosh, it's like that Norman Rockwell painting. I just like it's like Americana. You're supposed to take this cross-country road trip and it's gonna be
Some
so
people
fun.
should.
Some people
We
should.
are not
And
those
that's like the
people.
old culture. That is not our story. We did a 10
Nope.
hour one a few months ago, and we were like, this is probably not for us. We don't at this point are not a road trippy family.
Someone asked me, they said, are you gonna drive across with your kids? And I said, no, I love them way too much.
That is the
That's
truth.
like, I was like, I love Kjessie too, and I want to get to
Oh my
Georgia
gosh.
with married and a dad.
We would not like each other very much at the end.
So yeah, and so once again, like no one can give us there's no rule book for this, right? So
Right.
even when we say we want to do this for our family in the most low stress impact way, it's always changing. We're always adapting, and we're having to do things that another person would do or wouldn't do, you
Yeah.
know? And but the other thing I want to say in this process, we've been able to create just some incredible connections. You know, one of the things
Yeah.
that comes with this is realizing you can't do these kind of you could try to do this heavy lifting on your own or just you and your partner, and that puts a huge load. And for us, it's allowed us to connect, make real estate connections, both here in California, but also in Georgia. We already have folks that are on the ground there that we were connected with that helped us in terms of securing a rental. And we
Even
all
the woman that was helping with the admissions officer at the school, she's like, "We gonna get your babies in, don't you worry."
When someone
It's
says
like,
we're gonna throw babies in, I mean, you're like, oh, come on, man. Like, yeah, that's beautiful. And
yeah,
so it's allowed us to also really be willing to reach out and connect with people and be open. Say, yeah, we would like your support in this. Whether it's a business support or whether it's a transactional thing, but it just still feels so good to go. There are people that are helping you on this journey. And I think when it comes
mm,
to the process that we talk about, the ups and downs of getting to that goal where your compass is pointing, it doesn't, as a family and as a multicultural family, it it is important to understand it doesn't have to be just you and your partner. Create think about a team, identify people, create a team, because when you do that, it allows the process to be something that you're not alone, you're not on your own. And the things that you are naturally great at, you'll be able to accomplish. But there's things that maybe you're like, that's not my skill set. And you have a person that's willing to pick that up for you, it's a game changer you know? And so those are some of the things that we are not just learning, but we are incorporating in our life with the move and also in the business and in this community. Yeah.
yeah, Bo.
So you will get another update on the next podcast.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Yeah,
It's
that's great.
fun.
Yeah, so we look forward to keeping you guys updated. Leave us a comments, something in the comments of we want to hear about what big moves have you done in your life, physical moves, career moves, things that you're like, this is a big one, and also ones that you're like, I knew it was big when I said yes to this. It wasn't a shock. It was like, oh, we're gonna move our family from California to Georgia. Big step. So we want to hear about some of your big moves. How did you go through it? What tools did you use? And what kind of support team did you have or wish you would have had moving forward?
Yeah, and share this with someone if you were like, ooh, I
Yeah.
know so and so's moving and they need to hear this because their house just fell out of escrow. You're not alone.
Hey, give yourself time, 24 hours to be sad. You could take 36 hours. It's okay.
Or not and be super evolved.
Okay, stop. Stop.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.